So this is just going to be a very brief walkthrough of the related items component. So the related items component uses a few metafields to supply the required data. As you can see here, it's this related collections, related products, related image, and something called the condensed display name. So I've got a collection here, and I've created these metafields. So if we now take a look at the item itself, I've added it in. You would just add the section in here, and I would select related items, and I would get one of these. So here we can see it's in, and it's showing there. So it's showing the 3 related collections that I've got selected there. If we look at the section settings over here, we can see here it's showing collections. So it's set to show the collections there. I could change that, so instead it shows these products that I've got selected if I wanted to show products instead, and it will then show the products. So back to the collections. This is showing, currently I've got something on called constrain width. This is just limits it to the width, as many Shopify themes have got like a maximum width for things. This is the horizon theme, so it uses the class called section to signify that. If we were using Dawn, it would be one called PageWidth. It just allows us to control the margins on either side of it. The whole section itself, I can justify the top and bottom padding on both mobile and on desktop separately. So if we just switch to item settings, this is called the text display type. I can switch that, and I could have instead images instead. Or I've got the third option, which is the pill option, where they would display like this. So with these, if I select the pill option, for example, I can choose to have them centered, I can have them left aligned, and this works for obviously all the different types. Border around there, control the thickness of the border, the radius of the border, the color of the border, and the border color when you hover. Same for the background color, which is currently the text color is white, and it's this blue when you hover over it, and the text, which is currently a very dark grey and white when I hover over it. So I have full control over those things, and those slightly differently in that you don't have an item background on the image ones, but you do have a border color. With the text, obviously it's the color of the highlight. If I now switch to image settings, these settings only work if I've got the image mode selected. So I'll go back to the image mode, image settings. They're currently set as squares. I could have those as circles if I wanted. I can have them a couple of different sizes. I can have the spacing between them closer together. I could have them so they are just images with no text if I wanted to. This default image we'll come back to a little bit later on. If I go to my pill settings, I'll need to change the item settings to pill again. To the pill settings. In here I've just got one for a couple of different image sizes that I could choose. Finally, I have an additional settings where I could force all the text to be uppercase. Fade out on right means when items span more than the width of the screen, it just adds a slight fade to the edge so that we can see there's something else. Scroll on desktop means that rather than having them stack as in multiple rows, which I can have it so we get a scroll bar. Well, not a scroll bar, we get some the ability to add navigation arrows, which are these here, which I'll show you in a moment. If I switch to the mobile view, you'll see what the navigation arrows look like. And that's how it would scroll on desktop in that mode as well. So when it comes to images, the images that are being displayed here are signified. If I go to my section settings, this is choosing to show collections from a metafield. So what this does is it will initially, if there's a collection image, well, actually that's not quite true. If we have set a specific image to show in that thing, it will show that. So for this collection, the All Creatures and Monsters collection, it would show this image in the box. If that image doesn't exist, it will show the collection image. If the collection image doesn't exist, it will look at the collection, it will find the first product in that collection, and it will display that image. If there's none of those, and nothing of those exists, we can set it to show this default image, which you might set like as a logo or something like that. So you can always ensure that there will be some image that shows there, and you won't just get a dead image link. This also works for products. Obviously, if it's a product, it's not looking at the collection image. It will look first to see if the product has had a related image set. If it hasn't, it will look at the product image, and if there's no product image, which is unlikely, then it would show this default image. So there's a few other options that we have here. So that's collections. Obviously, I can show products. Okay, so those are those selected products that I've got there. There's another option of nav. Okay, so if I choose nav, I've created in here, I've created a nav menu. Okay, I've called it the related items menu. So it contains 3 collections, 1 product, and a page. Okay, so I can mix all of those types together, and then they can all show together in that bar. Again, if for pages, if I go to that contact page, let's go to pages. There is a metafield in here called related image where I have set a specific image to show in the menu to display for that page. So there's one more setting we can do. If I go to my product page, okay, so I'm also using the same component on this page here to display these here. So what on here, I've chosen the option of product collections. So this is just an extra option I've stuck in there. So what we can do is basically on here, these are all the collections that this product exists in. So all of these collections contain this product. And again, I have the same options for how I want it to display, but I've got some extra settings here because I've selected product collections. I can show the maximum number to show, because obviously you might not want 25 of them in there. If I set it to 4, it's only going to show the first 4, and so on. I can exclude specific collections if I didn't want the all animals one to select to be in there, for example, all animals. I'd have to get the name of the collection right. You have to enter the handle. Looks like I haven't spelled it right. Then that one would not show in there. And those are those extra options for that. I think that's everything.